What's up, people? It's your boy Carlos Blue Forte, and you're watching Blue Forte TV, a Chelsea fan channel where we, talk everything Chelsea and we talk about the Premier League. Um, I apologize for the last week or so. Um, we had a lot of fixtures in a short space of time, and I was quite tied up with playing football myself. I wasn't able to get the videos out when I did, but I'm still going to go back and recap um, the last two games that I forgot. That was Leeds versus Chelsea, and of course, Chelsea versus Bournemouth. So I just want to get this one out of the way quickly. That day, as you know, we lost 3-1, and boy, I wasn't too mad about it at the time because I did think Bournemouth was round the corner. It didn't matter. We could have bounced back against Bournemouth. We didn't. So I don't know. This might be significant. This might actually be a very, very important game a turning point in terms of the Premiership. We might have actually just kissed the Premiership goodbye. The only thing we have to rely on now is Arsenal bottling it and Man City getting some fatigue at a later stage. But that's provided we win all our next games. We're only 8 points off the top. It's been done before. Um, Teams that previously have been 15 points off the top in December and still come back to win. So it's not the title race is not completely over. Like I'd like to be proved wrong or proved right that it's not over, but we can do something. But I have seen in the last few games that it might well and truly be over. I don't know what's happened, but anyway, we started that game against Leeds with Sanchez in goal. We had Cucurella at left back, Badiashile and Tosin centre back with Chalobah at right back. Fernandez was the right central midfielder. Santos played at left central midfield. We had Gittins finally. Pedro in the 10. Esteval started his game, but came off after 45 minutes. I'll talk about that in a minute. And Delap was up front. For Leeds, they played Perry in goal. They played Roden, Bijou, and Strujic in centre back. Gudmundsson played on the left wing with Bogle on the right wing. In the middle, it was Stack, Ampadu, and Tanaka in the centre, and Ampadu actually captained the side. For those of you that don't know, Ampadu was a Chelsea, I would say wonder kid. He was a Chelsea wonder kid, and he didn't really feature for us that much. I was a bit annoyed that we sold him. Actually, I would have preferred to keep him, but can't keep them all. Nemetra and Calvert-Lewin were up front for Leeds. And I'm not being funny. All right, they played a 3-5-2, but you would honestly, out of that game, you would think that we would, that pretty much we've got a lot bigger squad depth than Leeds. Boy, we just didn't take our chances. Leeds, they definitely started the game on the front foot, and we were on the back foot for most of that game. It wasn't a good game, not enjoyable to watch at all. In terms of stats, it was ridiculous. If I tell you that Chelsea had 70% possession and Leeds had 30% possession, you probably wouldn't believe me. But they've still managed to take all their chances that they did. They still had more shots on goal than us. Not on target, but they just had 17 shots. We had 14 shots on goal. And 5 of theirs were on target, where only 2 out of 14 for Chelsea were on target. So we had more possession, but we were just not clinical at all. We had two corners, they had four, and we had two big saves, and we only forced one save out of Leeds. It just wasn't. It wasn't to be. I couldn't believe Leeds did what they did, but they did. Um, we had 682 passes, and 89% of them, were completed, whereas Leeds had 264 passes, with only 70% of them completed. And I'm thinking, we should have killed Leeds, literally. We should have at least come back into the game. Maybe if we didn't win, we should have at least come out of that game with a draw, at least a point. You know what I mean? Just to show that we got some fight, and yeah, we're away from home and all of that. I get all of that, but it's ridiculous. They had 59 long passes. We had 35. We had 6 through balls. They didn't even play one through ball, Leeds. It's just literally set pieces and, oh God, little, crosses here and there, little long balls. But they just were more clinical. They had 470 touches of the ball. We had 888, and we were. The other problem is, I would have said that they were just as physical as us. In that middle, I remember they said that they won 51 duels on the pitch, and we won 51 as well. And I'm thinking, bloody hell, they matched us physically. We were disciplined, they were disciplined. They had 3 offsides, we had 1. It's just ridiculous what happened to us. I don't know. We were 2-0 down at halftime. Bijou scored in the 6th minute. Tanaka scored in the 43rd minute. And in the second half, we come back through Pedro Neto after 50 minutes. And I'm thinking, yeah, we can get another goal. If we get another one quick, not too quick, but if we get another one in the next 10 minutes, that's it. It's 2-2, and we could go on to win the game. But it didn't happen. 22 minutes later, we're down 3-1 to Calvert-Lewin. And then we started to play really well, which really, really triggered me. And because I'm thinking, now we want to play in the last 10, 15 minutes. Now we want to get back and come at Leeds. It was a bad performance all round. And I'm going to be honest, I think we kissed the title, our title hopes goodbye. I'm not going to lie. But yeah, I don't know. That might be the most significant loss of the season for us. And yeah, even after the Arsenal game, you thought, yeah, we'll come back into it. We'll dust ourselves down as Leeds, and then we got Bournemouth, and it's not going to make a difference. We'll still be 6 points off the top. But yeah, now it's really not looking good. However, there was a few other things that happened that weekend that maybe will change things. Bournemouth were beaten by Everton 1-0. Who scored in that game? Sorry. Bournemouth and Everton. Who scored that weekend, actually? It was, let me check. It was a 1-0. I know Everton beaten 1-0. I don't even remember who scored, man. It was a little while ago still. But yeah, they lost. Fulham lost to Man City 5-4. That was a big game as well. I was expecting, really was expecting uh, Fulham to at least get a point out of that game. They deserved something, but that never happened for them. Let me go back to that Everton game. It was Jack Grealish that scored, yeah, in the 78th minute. For Fulham and Man City, it was a case. I know I've put this in that other video, but I'll put it again just to recap on it. Yeah, it was Erling Haaland in the 17th minute. We had it was Reinders in the 37th minute. He scored for Man City, and who else was there? Emil Smith Rowe scored in the 2nd minute of extra time. So, Man City, who else scored for Man City? Yeah, Phil Foden as well scored in the 44th minute as well. So Man City were like 3-1 up at half time. And I thought it was going to be plain sailing for them, but there was an own goal, unfortunately, for Fulham in the 54th minute from Berge. Foden scored again in the 48th minute. And yeah, it was after that, it was Chukwueze that scored in the 72nd and 78th minute, and also Iwobi that scored in the 57th minute. So that was the end of that, and that was on a Tuesday. Also, you had Newcastle that night. They played against Tottenham. That was 2-2. That was the game I watched. That was a heated game, very, very heated. Romero and Bentancur, bloody hell, man. They've got really, really bad discipline, but Bruno Gomes, as they call him as well, he scored in the 71st minute. Romero scored in the 78th minute. Gordon scored a penalty in the 86th. And Romero scored in the 5th minute of extra time. Yeah, boy. But that game, also those sort of draws and them kind of things, it changes the whole landscape of the Premiership. You know what I mean? It's not as clear cut as everybody thought it was going to be. Arsenal, they beat Brentford 2-0. Marino scoring in the 11th minute and Saka in the 1st minute of extra time at the end. That night, Villa beat Brighton 4-3. I think it was Van Heck that scored in the 9th minute, Watkins in the 37th. Pau Torres scored an own goal in the 29th minute. Ollie Watkins scored in the 37th minute. So it was 2-2 going into half time. And then after that, it was a case of Banana scoring in the 60th minute and Marlin scoring in the 78th minute. And then Van Heck scoring in the 83rd. I thought Brighton would have held a draw, but it wasn't to be, man. Who else played that night that we lost? Oh yeah, Palace beat Burnley 1-0. Munoz scored in the 44th minute. And obviously Nottingham Forest beat Wolves. It was to be expected. Jesus scored in the 72nd minute. And that rounded up that night of events. And obviously, I think it was the Thursday Man United played West Ham. It was a 1-1 draw. Dalot scoring in the 58th minute. And a good goal as well. And I really thought Man United would have held on to that 1-0 win, that 1-0 lead, should I say. And then Magassa scores in the 83rd minute. So I think for every team, it just wasn't really a good week, match week 14. I do think there was a lot of fixtures jumbled up that week. And it was mainly down to the international shenanigans the week before. So yeah, it is what it is for match week 14. I'm going to review match week 15 and our games against Bournemouth. I'm going to review them and then I'll do a recap of what happened. And then I'll do a new, fresh review of match week 16 and what we're going to come to expect. But yeah, we might have kissed the title goodbye after that loss. I'm being serious. It's going to be hard to catch anybody else, and now we're going to have to rely on other teams losing and stuff like that, which we shouldn't. So now it's just a case of winning all our games. I do believe in us. I do believe we can do it. But for me, it's looking like Champions League qualification again. And the way the Champions League is looking for us, I'm not I'm not the most optimistic either about that. Anyway, I'll leave it there. I'm out.